Right there in the middle of the frame is the tree that came down during the storm, or at least what's left of it. As you can see, it snapped the trunk right in half. Welcome to the aftermath of the storm. We had a storm here a few days ago, and as you can see, certain things are shorter than they used to be. So just to start things off, most of the garden is fine. No worries there. This trellis took it the hardest. See, I'll bring you in closer here. You can see it's broken. This used to be what was holding, well, a set of 6 of these, I should say. Used to be what was holding this up. And it was holding it at about, I want to say, like that height. But when the storm came through and snapped the tree off behind me, it also snapped off this trellis. All 6 of the remaining clips, well, 5 of the 6, I should say, remaining clips broke. One of them had been damaged previously, and it just sheared them all off, as you can see, right there. It just sheared them all off right at the top of the T-posts. So this entire trellis came down, and in doing so, it damaged. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, right here, you can see it. Damaged a bunch of these tomato plants, which is unfortunate. The plants are doing mostly okay, but there is several dead, damaged limbs. Dead and or damaged limbs, I should say. And a bunch of tomatoes were lost in the process, including several of the really big tomatoes that I was growing on the other trellis. We lost a few branches here and there. So my recommendation to you folks is if you're building something like this, maybe don't go with plastic. If you do go with plastic, go with something that's very thick and won't really have an issue with UV degradation over the course of a single year. Those clips lasted 1 year. I suspected that I needed to replace the other 5 because the one had gotten brittle and broken. I took my sweet time doing it, and as you can see now, I don't need to do it because they're gone. Well, most of them are still attached, honestly, but they're, broken and useless. As you can see, I'm basically using the same method that I did on the other trellis. The S-shaped carabiners inside eye hooks that are bolted in place. I don't have the extensions on these. Once the season is over with, I will go get those, break out a ladder, and then I'll just make this match the other trellis, and then we should be good in the future, because then it's all metal. I just have to keep an eye out for rust. Shouldn't be a problem at all. Speaking of that other trellis, let's go take a look. Cucumber plant that got snapped off. Unfortunate. The end of cucumber season is, well, I should say these plants anyway are fizzling out. If I want to start another round, now would be the time for me to start the seeds. Because by the time they're big enough to have cucumbers, it will be cooler outside. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. This trellis is doing just fine. The wind just damaged some stuff. Between that and the birds pecking holes in the tops of my tomatoes because I don't have a bird bath in the garden. At least that's what I've heard is supposed to fix that. I've never tested that. If anybody has, let me know if that works. I'm interested to possibly pursue that as a means to mitigate bird damage. That'd be great. Yeah, we clearly lost a few tomatoes, but that's all right because so far I have harvested no less than, I'd estimate 4 or 5 pounds of cherry tomatoes off of these plants, and I was able to salvage most of one of those big ones. So that was nice. It tasted pretty good. Now, my dad's tomatoes, as you can see, survived completely, well, comparatively unscathed. I see one little broken branch. His tomatoes did fine in rickety bamboo cane supports. They're barely even tied on and survived no problem. Unlike mine, which is just kind of funny. But I'm glad his are working. He's going to be here later today, actually. He's going to be happy to see how some things have progressed. I'll show you what I mean. Check that out. It is no longer a watermelon plant of sadness. We now have gladness and happiness. And that's not all. There's another one there. Another one there. And a great big one there. I imagine he's going to put these in produce bags today to stop squirrels and things from damaging them. He's got more than that forming too, actually. There's a few small ones as well. He may actually have to get to the point where he's thinning these out. I recommend it just so that he can get bigger watermelons, but maybe he wants smaller ones. I don't know. He and I will have to talk about that, and we'll see what he's going to do. Anyway, just a small update today. Not a whole lot's going on in the garden, honestly, other than the emergency repair we had to do to the trellis. And an update on that tree. The tree that came down did not come down on our property. It came down, it was a neighbor's tree in the back, kind of like had a corner. And then it came down directly on the fence between the two properties and landed in between, most of the top of the tree landed in between a shed and a house. So very minimal damage, all things considered. I do see another broken branch up there, but it looks like it's not going to fall in my yard, and at least there's that. I'll have to make sure they know about it. I think they do, because they already had people out to remove the top half of the one tree, but yeah, I'll get that message passed along. Other than that, we will come at you in a couple weeks here with the state of the garden, and I will have an update shortly on the status of the Solana Matripurpureum, just because big things are happening there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until we talk again. Welcome to the aftermath after the storm, folks. It's an aftermath. It would be after the storm. Otherwise, it'd be called a before or during math. Never mind. Anyway, I'm using the same method that I used on the other trellis. Why don't those close all the way? They don't technically need to. I just noticed that. So, kind of not really a smoky flavor. I don't really know of a good way to describe it, but it was it was a tomato. It was just a big tomato, and it tasted decent. I'm sorry if that's not a more useful description, but that's what I've got.